Gimble, come feel there. Rock a bandana like Tupac, I've been there. Rock a do-rag or wave cab, I lay my shit.
Yeah, what's going on, Gooners and Goonerettes? It's game day! Game day. Fulham have come to the Emirates and we got something real for them. I just want to talk about the team sheet first of all. Team sheet is over here. The team sheet is Ramsdale in goal. Partey is back as an inverted double pivot and right back. And then we've got, this is where it gets really strange. Nketiah has come in for Tomiyasu. So Zinchenko, not quite ready yet, which is fair enough. I wouldn't have expected Zinchenko and Jesus to play 90 minutes today. So look forward for them to come off the bench. But in the middle, with Saliba, it's a strange one. They've put Nketiah at left back. So, I mean, that's the only option that they had there because they've sold Kieran Tierney. But so the first 2 weeks with Gabriel, I was like, okay, so we're going with this experiment. We're trying to push this inverted right back. And look, if Zinchenko had played left back, you could have seen a Ben White on the right back, and then you could have seen it exactly how it was last year. But it seems like we're not doing that at the moment, and one has to wonder if it's just that position, if it's just the Zinchenko factor to the point where he can't start, so therefore we have to go inverted. It's really strange. But again, let's see it work out today. Look, guys, the purpose of today is to just not let goals in. Last season, we had 3 clean sheets in 19 home games. Not good enough. And although we had a great record at home, we had 10 clean sheets away from home. So there's definitely a defensive problem. It doesn't even matter if you're going for the title. The fact that you've kept 3 clean sheets at home, that's a problem. Because a lot of other teams were able to do way better than that. And as I said, it was more about us being more free-flowing, being more expressive in our tactics and going hell for leather because we've got the Emirates faithful here at the stadium right now. So the fans get into it, the players G themselves up, and it was all that. We did average like 3 goals in home games, so most times it benefited us. But I think there has to be a tactical level of calm here from Arteta. You have to go out now understanding that there's a defensive side and you can't go hell for leather. You can't go Nigel Benn for 3 rounds when you're at home knowing that you could get knocked out at some point. And it did happen to us. There was a couple of times, Bournemouth, as I said, there's a couple of times where we just let goals in within the first minute. And it was just, no, we can't do that, guys. We have to have defensive stability. Offense, don't worry about it, because I keep saying this to you guys. We beat a franchise record, scored 88 goals last season, which we've never done in the history of Arsenal Football Club. Scoring goals is not a problem. And yeah, 3 goals in the first 2 games, but the goals is not the problem. I just don't understand why Gabriel's not playing. He was such an important part, and there will be games that he's going to play. So I guess the fact that I'm saying there's going to be rotation. There is rotation. Nketiah starting today. The midfield is the same. So you've got a midfield of Odegaard. You've got a midfield of Havertz and Declan Rice. So no problems there. Up front is where it gets a little bit of a difference. So Nketiah is being rested now. He missed a few good chances last week, but then he did make the goal on Monday night that won the game. But Trossard now comes in as the main striker. He's been waiting for his chance. He didn't even get on the pitch barely on Monday night. So it's good to see Trossard now starting as a number 9 anchor man. And this is why I was saying to you guys, we don't need Balogun because we're 5 deep at the position. Jesus, Nketiah, Trossard, Martinelli, and Havertz all can play number 9. So for me, having Balogun 6th best on the depth chart just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. And I know some of you lot are still screwing out there saying, nah, we shouldn't have sold him. But to me, guys, I just can't see the logic in keeping a guy who just weren't going to get on the pitch. And he didn't have the greatest of pre-seasons either. So, look, I digress. The wingmen, as I said, Saka and Martinelli, we're looking for something for them today. Because they weren't great on Monday night. So I'm looking for them in front of the home fans to do something special. My only issue in this game was Nketiah having scored all those goals, what was it, 14 in the last 16 or something like that at the Emirates. So all he does here is score goals. So I'm looking for him to get on nice and early in the second half. But again, there's the Jesus factor as well. I mean, look at the bench, guys. Look at the bench. You got so much talent on the bench. You've got Jorginho, you've got Jesus, you've got Nketiah, you've got Smith Rowe, you've got Vieira. Man, there's a lot of firepower on the bench. You've got Zinchenko. There's a lot of firepower on the bench. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stay with my prediction today of 3-0 moving into the first 3 games because I'm still trying to figure out the system, still trying to figure it out. And I want Arteta to rotate. You can't start making up noise, guys. I said this in the preview. You can't butter up your lips as soon as the changes are being made. And that's one thing we lacked last season. We started so many players in too many games. And you have to learn to back off that and give other people a chance. So today, Trossard, Nketiah, they get their chance. Let's see how they deliver. Speak to you guys at half-time. First half, guys, not good. It's pissing down with rain here. It's Arsenal losing 1-0. I really, really, really don't know why they've come out this flat. It's probably the worst performance that you've seen from Arsenal in the first half in a long time. They weren't this bad. Even at Everton last season in the first half, I mean, everyone is off it. Almost everyone is off it. Partey and Rice, I think, in the midfield have done really well. But when you look at the flanks, Martinelli gets the ball out on the left-hand side and he's just clueless with it. I mean, we know that he's got creative issues in terms of what he does with the ball. We know he doesn't have a final ball, but we know he's more of an impactful player. So you like Martinelli to pick up the ball where he doesn't have to think about what he's got to do with it, running in on goal, making the goalkeeper work. And what you don't want is Martinelli in a situation where he's wide left and then he has to create because he's just not getting enough done there. And so you're wasting him there. There has been a switch. Trossard has come out for 10 minutes on that left-hand side. Martinelli's moved to the middle because Arteta has obviously seen that Martinelli's struggling there. But there's struggles all over the field. Saka on the right-hand side is having an absolute nightmare. Nothing's happening with him so far. Just not getting involved. Poor on the overlap. He's been on the floor 4 or 5 times and just not getting involved. He had a header which he could have scored. He headed it down onto the floor and the ball went over the bar. Nothing could go right for Saka at the moment. And it's kind of like that with the rest of the team. There's been 2 shots Martinelli has had. Both of them have been straight at Leno, so it's very easy for him to cover that. Odegaard had a goal disallowed as well, which you can see Havertz was wildly offside. It wasn't even close. VAR didn't even have to come in for that one. But overall, guys, I thought Partey and Declan Rice have had a decent first half. Havertz has been okay as well. Some nice little touches from Havertz. But you've just got to understand what we've got here is a massive sort of dysfunctional rotation where guys are not playing well. Saka and Martinelli wasn't that great against Palace either, and they've come in today and not been impactful at all. It's not working on the front line with Trossard. Trossard improved as soon as you put him out on that left. But he started to use his intelligence to come inside and make things happen, put a beautiful ball over, and that was the one where Saka couldn't get on the end of, and then he put it over the bar. Apart from that, guys, look, if you're a manager and you know that it's not happening for your players today, and you've got hungry players on the bench there that are wanting to come on and prove to you that they should be a part of the team, then that's your decision to now put them on. The game is lacking charisma, it's lacking energy, and quite frankly, the movement is really poor. There's hardly anybody running into space outside of Havertz. He's the only guy that's really picking up that space in the final third. And I think if you're the manager, you're turning around, you're looking at the likes of Vieira, you're looking at players like Smith Rowe, and then obviously Eddie's on the bench, Jesus is on the bench. You've got guys who can come in now and be impactful, and that's what this team needs. You come out there in the second half, and this team is just, they're flat-footed, they're lacking imagination, the movement is poor, and there's just no energy. And as a manager, you've got to understand that and then make the change. So if we don't see any changes early in the second half, I'd be surprised, but I would make wholesale changes. I would bring at least 2 or 3 players on, because it's just lacking that inventiveness, it's lacking that sharpness, and it's just lacking the energy up front, and I think that's where he has to change it. As far as the goal that we let in, that was on Saka. You lose the ball there, and I've talked about Ramsdale, you know, coming out of his penalty area too far up into the centre of the pitch, and then he's going to get beaten at some point. So when Saka loses the ball, which is textbook, Ramsdale is about 40 yards off his line, and it's not that difficult for then Pereira to then hit the target and then beat Ramsdale. So that is that. I said it every week, guys, it's going to come back and bite us, and it did today. If Ramsdale is inside of his penalty area, then he saves that. And it was obviously covered. Ben White was actually running in on the target as well, so he would have intercepted Pereira. But hey, that's what happens, man. So it's 1-0 to Fulham at the moment, guys. Let's see what happens at full time. So guys, yeah, it ends here 2-2. I don't even know what to say really, because at some point you've got to say that you're the master of your own mistakes, and the team is just so fragmented now. The party experiment at right back, I mean, whether some people are saying it works or it doesn't, is one thing it definitely does, is it mixes up the dynamic in the team, so you're expecting things to happen elsewhere where it isn't, and it just throws everything into chaos. And when Zinchenko came on, obviously Vieira and Nketiah had a lot to do with the change of the pace of the game. But really, that's how we should have started the game. And we played for the first 60, 70 minutes. We was just disjointed, completely disjointed. No passion, no movement, no desire, no nothing, no energy. And then those guys come on. And I said that before, you got a bench, a wealthy bench full of players who can impact a game, and that's exactly what they did. The first goal was made again from the substitution, and Eddie comes on and scores. So really, that's what you've got to do, but none of that problem happens if you start the process where it needs to be. And I think because of the injuries, because of the suspensions, I think you should have played Gabriel. Gabriel didn't even get on the pitch today. So regardless of what we've heard and what's happened and anything like that, it's just come back to bite you. You're putting a performance like this, and it's because the team is just completely disjointed. And for an hour, it's probably the worst football that we've played. But I do want to say, please stop with the party at right back thing. And if you're going to play Eddie, play him from the beginning of the game, so you've got that movement intensity and you've got that goal scoring threat from the beginning of the game rather than at the end. And it's just one of those things, guys. Look, really difficult to say who man of the match is, but here's the details up here for you guys who are watching this late on the stream. It's really hard to drop a point here. Fulham by no means had deserved to get a point out of this game. They were never really in it. And then they even have a chance with Almond Traore to go on and win the game in the last minute. So, like I said, guys, this was really a result of our own doing. And it starts with the players not taking responsibility for the performance and the energy that's required at this level, and the manager just having all of those players on the bench, which honestly 2 or 3 of those players should have had a start today. And then Trossard, you got to feel for Trossard. He doesn't play in the last game. He comes on bench in the first game. So today you start him, and what do? You start him in the wrong position. You play him as a main striker, so he's been waiting for his chance. And then when you do play him, he comes on in the wrong position and just doesn't have doesn't have any effect on the game. He's been marked by a guy who's 6'3". Trossard is 5'7", and he's just been engulfed at the number 9 position by the defence. And then Eddie comes on and then obviously does what Eddie does. That's 15 goals in 17 games here at the Emirates for Eddie Nketiah. Just fantastic from him. Yes, it was good for him that he got a bit of a rest, but the game was crying out for Eddie. And fantastic, I thought Vieira was fantastic in injury time. Vieira had a volley which pulled off a great save from Bernd Leno. And so he could have won the game for us, having got the assist for the Nketiah goal. But guys, that's just how it is today. Arsenal shared the points. Really didn't have to be like that. Lessons learned from today, guys. But yeah, we've dropped 2 points at home. I'll speak to you guys on the next one.
I'm trying to be a black king, yeah. I'm trying to be a black king, yeah. MLK, Jay-Z, MJ. I'm trying to be a black